Hello everyone, my name is Bree and welcome to Document a Journey. Today's video is just going to be me playing in this sketchbook. I have 3 spreads left to finish and I do not complete all of them in this video, but that's okay. I am 2 spreads closer to my goal of finishing the sketchbook, and I'm excited just to share with you these 2 pages that I did finish. Over on Instagram, I put up a story and I asked if you all could ask me a few questions, or if you had questions for me that I could answer in this video. And so that is what I'm going to do today. However, before I get into it, I was wondering if you could please like, subscribe, comment down below on the video. All these interactions with this video will help me be able to be seen in other ways on YouTube. So if you could kindly do that, that would be great. Okay, let's start with the first question. The first question was, what sketchbook is this? I feel like I have been in the sketchbook forever, but this is the Stillman & Byrne Zeta series sketchbook, and I really do like this sketchbook. I actually have used it many times. I think this is maybe my 3rd, and I have repurchased it kind of in a different format. The next one that I have is a spiral, but I do enjoy this paper because I can layer my watercolor really nicely on it and build a lot of depth. I use the Strathmore Mixed Media paper, the 300 series. It's a student grade, it's a spiral bound, and it has a yellow cover. I feel like these 2 papers are very, very similar. They're both labeled mixed media. I don't know if they're the same poundage or GSM, but the smoothness of the pages are very, very similar. So if you are looking to get one of these books and you have the Strathmore Mixed Media, then you kind of already know what you are getting into. Another sketchbook from Stillman & Byrne that I absolutely love is the Epsilon series. Now this is not labeled for paint, but it is their drawing book. The paper is really smooth, so my ballpoint pen glides on this paper, and I can actually watercolor on it if I do light washes, let them dry in between, and then layer like that. So those are kind of my 2 go-to sketchbooks at the moment. That's what I've been buying regularly, and I have been really enjoying them. Another question that was asked was, how long does a piece in your sketchbook typically take? So I have a hard time answering this question because I feel like it depends on the sketchbook and it depends on the different papers in the sketchbook. So I guess if I was to answer it about this sketchbook, each one of these pieces, because it is an 8x10 sketchbook, takes me a little over 2 hours. The pen work itself can take an hour, and then the painting, depending on how many layers, can also take an hour. But also these are larger illustrations because they are 8x10. So there's that. But then if I'm looking at my Epsilon sketchbook, and this is where I do a lot of play and practice and a lot of Patreon, Leaves Tier sketchbook club stuff, I don't take as long on these. Some of those illustrations are 10 minutes, and so a whole page can take me like 30 minutes. That's pen, paint, everything. So it really just depends on, one, how much time I have, and two, what sketchbook I'm using, and then how much I want to put into it. So I think a sketchbook is not every sketchbook is meant for finished pieces like this. And so when you're looking at your sketchbook, think of it just as a place to practice and play. And sometimes that's finished pieces and sometimes it's not. So the next question is, when and where do you spend time working in your sketchbook? I don't have like a specific time. I know there are other people that talk about how they're more creative in the morning or at night or whatever the case may be. But for me, I don't think about a moment that I am creative. I just try and take any moment to be creative. I homeschool my kids. I have 2 kids, they're 9 and 7, and so they are my first priority. And so I pretty much get them started for the day, and then whatever time I have in between activities and things with them is when I devote towards my sketchbook. This can be really difficult because it is a lot of context switching, but I feel like I've been doing it for a while, and sometimes it's easier than normal, or harder than normal, but for the most part it works out, and I get to have at least some time in my sketchbook. I think also if I make a point in the day to be like, okay, when I have a free time, like this free moment, I'm gonna put it towards sketchbook, and then my next free moment after that, I'm gonna go and put it towards some kind of move my body exercise type thing. When I make a point to do it, then I end up doing it, which is really nice. And then the second part of that question is, where do I work in my sketchbook? I normally work in my sketchbook at my desk. It's just kind of a central location of the house, and so it's easy access for if the kids need me or something, they know where I'm at. And especially in the summer, this is where I'm at. But when the weather gets nicer, I tend to try and go outside. We have a covered patio that has a nice table out there, and so I can actually film. And that's the other thing, is a lot of times when I'm working in my sketchbook, I am filming it. And so I need to have some kind of horizontal space. I used to work a lot in my sketchbook on the couch when we were watching TV, but it's harder to film and the lighting isn't great, and all these things. And so I tend to gravitate towards desks and spaces that I can actually use for filming. All right, we're coming to the end of the video, so I'm going to end it with this last question, which is, if you have a bad sketch or a bad page in your sketchbook, what do you do with it? How do you handle it? And I take it the easy way out and I just leave them. It's really hard for me to go back into a sketch and watercolor over it because watercolor reacts with water. So it's not something that I can just paint over. But I have seen many people that use gouache or pastels or oil pastels or whatever the case. They go over their image with paint, or they go over their image even with other images. They will like sketch something on a different piece of paper and paste it in, or pull from a magazine. Many people do things like that. For me, I end up just leaving them. I actually have a page in this notebook right now, this sketchbook, the Stillman & Birn, that I do not like. I tried a different technique that is just not me, and I end up, every time I open the sketchbook spread, I don't like it, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I am just going to leave it because it's a good reminder that like, this is not something you like, so don't continue doing it. Yeah, a sketchbook is made for you for practice and learning, and if I cover up all the mistakes, and then that means I'm covering up all the points that I've learned from and the proof of me learning. So I leave them. I think I would suggest everyone to leave them. But that is the end of the video. I really appreciate you all being here. I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, I'll see ya.